Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you. Today, I want to get into a pair of kicks that I have really been excited about for a couple of months now. I was able to hit these on a shop drop on the sneakers app, and I can't wait to get into them. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Gratitude Jordan 11s. Whenever I first saw people reviewing these shoes, I thought that maybe they were reviewing like GS sizes or something, because I thought that the box that they were looking at looked like the mid box or like the box that they sell GR kid sizes in and that sort of thing, just because it's all black and it has this gold Jumpman. However, whenever you look a little bit more closely, it's got that 23 in the font that we're used to seeing on Jordan 11s. It's kind of just like a boxy font. And then on the side, it's also got a gold accent, so that kind of dresses it up a little bit. But at first, when I saw this box, I thought, oh man, they really skimped out on this. But it is a little bit fancier than what it looks initially. However, I think my favorite box was probably the Jubilee 11 box. I just thought that one was so cool, the way it opened in a different way and just the way it looked and everything. But anyhow, you get a black box, gold Jumpman, looks a lot like a mid box. The tag reads Air Jordan 11 Retro. The colors are white, metallic gold, and black. I ordered a size 10.5 in this pair. Part of why I mind the box looking so plain is just because the price of these was, I think, $230 US, and it seems like over the last year or two, Jordan brand just consistently raises that price a little bit here, a little bit there, and before you know it, shoes are like $20, $30 more than what they were, you know, 2 or 3 years ago. And I just think that for the time being, they really got to pump the brakes on raising prices. Shoes are expensive as they are, so Jordan brand, please, we've had enough with the price raises. Obviously, I was going to go after this pair of kicks. I really wanted this pair of kicks, but the prices are really getting ridiculous. I do like how whenever you lift up the lid, it says thank you underneath. Obviously, that goes along with the gratitude theme. And also, sticking with that gratitude theme, you've got a whole bunch of different languages for thank you. I think it says Donka, Gracias, I don't know what other languages it has, but I'm guessing that they're all just different languages for saying thank you, and I think that's pretty cool. I definitely think that paying $230 US for retail for a pair of Jordans, I think that's worthy of getting a thank you, so I kind of like seeing that. Enough of that box. I felt a little bit underwhelmed with the presentation and that sort of thing. However, I think these things are just absolutely beautiful. I have never had the Concords. These look very similar to the Concords, aside from the fact that the accents on this pair are gold instead of that Concord color. But I think this is such a classic look on such a clean sneaker. And my first initial thought of these were just that they came out perfect. I think they look so nice. I see no flaws in this pair. The colors are really nice, and actually whenever I opened these up and I first took them out, they kind of made me feel the way the Jubilees did the first time I opened them up. They just have such a clean and classic look to them. A lot of people do refer to these as the DMPs, which was the Defining Moments pack, and that contained a 6 and then this 11. The Defining Moments pack was made to commemorate Jordan's first three-peat with the 6 and then his second three-peat with the 11. But this color scheme is basically the exact same thing as the DMPs. However, now they're going with that gratitude theme, and even on the shoe, I'll show you here in a minute, but on the inside of the tongue, it even says thank you and made with gratitude and that kind of stuff. But I really like these, whatever you call them. I think it's a classic look. It's not an OG colorway, but it looks so clean, and I think the 11 wears these colors beautifully, and I'm very pleased with how my pair came out. Getting into the review, I think this outsole is incredible looking as well. I think every angle of these things just look outstanding, but I love having this translucent gum material for the outsole. It's almost just like a foggy white color, but I think it looks great. I love how you can see the carbon fiber kind of underneath of there, and you can also see that Jumpman there at the midfoot. And another thing I really like is this carbon fiber. It's got the squares like we're used to getting on that carbon fiber, but this is black, and then it looks like it has a little hint of gold. I don't know if that's coming through on camera, but I thought that was a really nice detail. And again, that just ties in with the gold accents that we have on the back of the shoe for the Jumpman and that 23. Along with that translucent rubber, we also have traction areas here under the forefoot and underneath the heel. And that's like a herringbone traction, but that's in a black color. The 11 always had like a futuristic outsole and just looked like it was from another planet or something. But I think these colors look great on here. We can see that that translucent rubber kind of wraps up to meet a white foam for the midsole, and it's your standard 11 midsole. It's the same that we always have on an 11, just a bright white, and it's kind of got this texture that's just like a lot of squares or something on it, but it looks really nice, and I love seeing that translucent rubber wrap up to meet it. Then just above that, maybe the most iconic feature of the 11, we have that patent leather, and this actually seems like it's a really nice material. Sometimes patent leather looks cheap and looks a little bit cheesy, but I think that this material seems really nice. It feels nice, and if you look at the edges, it actually seems like it is a real leather, so I'm glad that they gave us a decent material for that patent leather. Obviously, it's in that glossy black color, and I think up against the bright white, it just looks outstanding. One thing that I've heard people go back and forth on is the fact that this whole upper is leather. Me personally, I really like that, because a lot of times if you have mesh or canvas or whatever the material typically is, if it gets dirty, then you're pretty much done for. And you might be able to clean it off a little bit, but it'll always have like a little bit of a dingy look to it. Well, the fact that this is bright white leather, I really like to keep my shoes looking brand new as long as I can, and especially on such a classic silhouette with such a classic colorway. I really like that we have white leather for this upper, because I do think that they'll be easier to keep clean. Sticking with that all leather theme, we've got a tumbled leather tongue. We've got this iconic tag on the tongue that says Jumpman and Jordan. And again, it's got a little Jumpman in gold to tie in the rest of the gold on the shoe. It's just a tumbled leather for that whole tongue. And again, I really like that. Usually we get canvas strips for the lacing system, but on this pair we've got a really smooth leather, and it actually feels like it's decent. I like getting leather for the lacing system as well. I just think that it really does elevate these shoes, and again, I think it'll be easier to keep these looking brand new. On the back of the shoe, where we see this Jumpman and then where we see the 23, this is a smooth leather, and I like all the different textures that we have on there. Hopefully you can see that on the base we've got a nice tumbled effect, but all these strips are smooth, as well as this leather panel here in the back. We got white rope style laces in this pair. I can't imagine putting anything different in there. They didn't come with any extras, but I don't think 11s typically do, and I think these white laces look great in there. Then on the back of the tongue, it says thank you down both sides of that tag. In the middle, it says quality basketball product created in gratitude by the greatest player ever. So that's just a little switch up from what we usually have for the verbiage. I think like we see on 12s as well. Typically it says like quality product inspired by the greatest player ever or something like that. But for this one, it says created in gratitude by the greatest player ever. I think that's a nice little detail. I like that. The sock liner is black, and like always, we have this sock liner that kind of wraps up to the back, and that's where you get that gold 23 accent. But it feels like your standard Jordan 11 sock liner. And then down on the insole, it's black, and it's got that gold 23 and those boxy numbers again. But that was a pretty quick look at these. Let me know what you all think about them. I think there's going to be really high numbers. I was a little bit surprised that they sold out on the shock drop as quick as what they did. And I actually knew a couple people that went for these on the shock drop and they took L's. I don't think these will be that difficult to get on the main drop, simply because there's going to be such high numbers, and because that retail price, that's up there, especially around Christmas time when you're spending money on gifts and that sort of thing. All that being said, I think they came out really, really well. I don't see any QC issues with this pair. And like I said before, this pair really wowed me, kind of like the Jubilees did whenever I first opened them. Let me know what you all think about these. Let me know if you're grabbing a pair or if you already were able to grab a pair. I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I will catch you on the next one. I'm out.